Hey, good girl. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, it's Elliot. It's Friday, and unfortunately we just got some stinky news to talk about, because it's never fun to talk about when a company nearly lays off their entire staff. If you've been on Twitter, you've probably seen that the Guard has nearly laid off all of their employees and their parent companies to two esport franchises, one in Call of Duty with the LA Guerrillas and the other in Overwatch with the LA Gladiators. And it's kind of crazy because if you look at the creative team that they assembled, I mean, it really was kind of like the Avengers, with Iceman Isaac, Mavic, just so many talented people. And personally, I'd like to shout out Hunter, who's been one of my favorite content creators just to watch blossom, especially back before he joined esports. Like, right when he joined Esports Talk with Jake Lucky, it was just a really cool time to watch him grow and to go off and be this head over here. I was just really excited to see him tackle life and do what he's doing. And it's just unfortunate that with all of this hard work, it's coming to an end. And why I'm talking about this is because it's been said that the LA Guerrillas, which is the CDL franchise team, is only going to be funded throughout the end of the season. So once the season ends, unless there's another company that comes in and buys their spot, LA Guerrillas is going to be removed from the CDL. I mean, this is obviously a big stir within the community, and Scump and Methods were kind of going back and forth on it, and they're saying that there's a lot of organizations that would be in the CDL, but with a $25 million franchise tag behind it, it just doesn't make sense.
I read reports that like people were struggling to get back in the building, and like security was like being very harsh because like some people wanted to go back up files, and it's like, I'm not sure what's going on, but if you're laying your entire workforce off, there has to be some type of empathy to where, you know, people need to go in the office and get their fucking things and back up files. That should be the last thing you should be stopping them from doing. That is basic human decency.
Unless there's some shit getting hidden, like trying to get covered up. I mean,
yeah.
Which, I mean, I can't imagine that that's the thing, but
a source familiar with the situation, who asked not to be identified, tells the Esports Advocate that a majority of staff have been laid off, with only Overwatch League team LA Gladiators and Call of Duty League team LA Guerrillas to remain operational until either a suitable buyer can be found for the teams or the franchise slots, or until the end of each league's respective season ends. If a buyer isn't found, both teams would be closed, a source tells the Esports Advocate.
So, I mean, that's even more insane. But, I mean, what happens? I mean, dude, what happens if LAG just, what if there's not a buyer for LAG? And right now, why would there be? I mean, I don't want to sit here and bash anything, but like, dude, if the CDL is going to YouTube again after everyone has been freaking the fuck out about not wanting to go to YouTube, if it doesn't stay on Twitch, who is going to buy that spot? So then we're stuck with 11 teams in the league. How the fuck is that going to work?
Well, I believe, okay, I'm not sure about a new season, but let's say, for example, right now they file for bankruptcy.
And then you think about the players too. What happens to like players that signed extended contracts? I mean,
yeah, no, this is an all disaster. I know in the short term, I'm pretty sure, let's say they file for bankruptcy tomorrow and they pulled out, I'm pretty sure Activision would be funding the team in the short term. I believe they would go to minimum salaries if they're not already on them, and then the league would operate the team for the time being.
Because it's no surprise that really esports and gaming organizations aren't the most profitable thing. They really are pushing out a lot of money for them to kind of be breaking even or be making just a little bit of profit. And I mean, hell, the Las Vegas Legion gets a lot of hate, but from what Clayster says, they're one of the most profitable teams in the league. So kudos to them. I don't want to jump on the Guard, even though several weeks before laying a whole bunch of people off, they said, yo, everyone needs to move to LA, which is a very expensive place to live, just to lay them off once they get there. I think that is just a really shitty situation no matter how you look at it. But unless we know all the details in that situation, the people who are running the Guard may not have known and were like, hey, come out, we're going great things, and then a few weeks later everything changes. And I don't want to go on like a societal rant here, but I think this may be like a clear indication that how our system works and operates is just on a thread. Like everything is just working on a thread, that if one person changes their mind high up, it's going to have a really big domino effect going down. because the owner of the guard is also the owner of the LA Rams at Stankochi, or however you say his last name, and this guy's net worth is billions. But for a guy like him, he's probably looking at the spreadsheet and say, hey, I got to cut my losses, and this is one of my biggest losses. And on some more not so good Call of Duty news, this Friday, if you woke up and you're like, you know what, I want to build a sniper class, start sniping throughout the weekend, try to get my phase entry in. Well, unfortunately, snipers have received a stealth nerf. Incendiary rounds seem to have been nerfed in Warzone, as snipers can no longer down a fully armored enemy with one hit, even with incendiary rounds equipped, which is kind of a bummer because it decreased the bullet velocity, so you had to have more accuracy when landing your shot. And I don't know about you guys, but I am a proponent that a sniper rifle should down somebody if you hit them in the head. I think it should be a challenge, but I think it should be a skill that is rewarded. And really the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was Kick.com, Twitch's supposed rival for a streaming platform. It's something that I'm very interested in at least trying. But every time I see Kick on Twitter, it's just because something is going wrong. You have guys like Aiden Ross, who I will go out and say I'm not the biggest fan of, who is just outright showing the hub, and you know which one I'm talking about, just on stream on Kick. And then recently you had another streamer showing just that he was getting a blowjob on stream. And it just seems like the wild, wild west of streaming, which I don't know if necessarily is a bad thing. But the biggest appeal for me is obviously the revenue split, because creators on that platform get a 95 to 5% ratio split. That means if you got $100, you're keeping 95 and Kick gets $5. So I wonder really how Kick is going to fund itself, but it is a platform I'm genuinely kind of curious to see and monitor. And I want to do some test streams on there. But I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Score Navigator. All of us want better gaming gear. If you're on a console, eventually you're going to want the next gen, or you're going to want to upgrade to a PC, and that's just going to cost some money. And having a good credit card and a credit score is something that we should all strive for. Score Navigator is here to help you. They say, hey, let's make a goal. If you want a 700 credit score, these are the steps that you need to do in order to get it. With things like, this is when you need to pay your bills, this is what you need to pay off first. If you're going to get your credit check ran, this is the date you need. It's a very supportive tool. I've been using it for a while and I absolutely love it. And if you use my link, you're going to get 10% off, not just the sign up, but every month that you use it. And it's already super cheap. It's already like $5 a month. So go ahead, get the education, set up your credit score goal, and get financially free and live life on your terms. But with that said, I'm going to wrap up today's video. Let me know what you guys think about all of this, with the guard nearly laying off all of its employees, especially with telling their employees to move out to Los Angeles to only a few weeks later lay them off. Nerfing one-shot snipers and making it a stealth nerf, not even coming out and saying it with your chest. And then what are your thoughts on Kick? Have you even heard of Kick? If you have, what are your thoughts on it? Would you be interested in watching a stream of mine over there? But if you're still here, I appreciate you. I want to thank you for getting to this point. I'll ask you, please like, share, and subscribe. At 500 subscribers, I'm giving away a copy of Modern Warfare 2. And for liking this video and sharing it with your friends, that way they stay in the loop, here's a picture of my dog, Annie. She's my buddy. She's my pal. She's my sweet little girl, who is the mascot of this channel and challenges you. Make somebody laugh today, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yep, nope, not in my house.